people, but that is incredible. It really is. And you were talking just now about audiobooks, and I think that's a really, really good topic to focus on, because that's what I really wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to talk to you about what kinds of things did you do to actually push yourself, to actually train the brain. And I agree with you, listening to speech in isolation is where it starts, because that's all we want. We want to be able to understand other people. We want to communicate. We want to collaborate. And it starts with speech and understanding speech. But then it gets more complicated after that. So after the audiobooks, what other things might you have done to, learn the sounds of the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about getting that kind of I hate to use the word kind of balanced scorecard of everything around you, because it's not just it's speech, it's music, it's so I did also do the same thing with music. There's so much music that I've missed out on, and the lyrics for those. So with you can look the lyrics up and you can get them, and then you can follow the music and pick out the lyrics as well. And I'm sure I found myself singing in the bedroom with my sort of being very embarrassing, trying to do the lyrics. But it was something I missed for so long, because I haven't been able to do that for such a long time. So it's things like that. It was also going out and listening to the residual sounds, the sort of the leaves, the birds in the trees, and the cars from a distance, and just kind of it's kind of almost and I guess, as I said, because I've been given some time off by my firm, I realised that I needed to kind of get that balanced scorecard, that kind of full suite of listening. In noisy places, in quiet places, in when you were traveling and you're in the car, when you're in a quiet room, and also watching television, sort of without subtitles was another one that I tried doing, which wasn't always. I still use subtitles today, because it's just sometimes a bit easier. So to your point about, it's not a miracle cure. It gives you that extra. It has been a miracle for me, but my point is it's not. People shouldn't just think that your hearing goes back to complete normal again. But it was things like that I used to just, as I said, to kind of push the brain to sort of almost to train it to listen to all the different scenarios you could think of. I mean, I don't know, does that resonate with you?
Absolutely, everything you just said resonates with me. It's like I don't think I'm needed for this recording. No, what's really interesting is I've been sitting on this for a couple of minutes wondering if I should share this story. It's not embarrassing, but basically what happened was when I got my first cochlear implant, I was 21, 22. And one of my sisters came home one day and she had a VHS of ABBA's greatest hits. And it was all the ABBA videos on a video. So I'm sure some of the people watching this will not know what a video is, but Google it, find out yourselves. But basically, we put the video into the video player and she printed all the lyrics out at work that day. And we literally spent a whole evening just going through I think we listened to every single song at least 3 times. But it was the start of a whole new world of music. I mean, I went to a concert a couple of weeks ago and I booked tickets to 3 gigs for next year already, because that's how immersed I can be in music now. So, I mean, I sometimes wonder if I had not done that, would things have turned out differently? I mean, what do you think? I mean, how important do you think this kind of exercise in the brain is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's vital. If I'm really honest, I think it really is vital. I think it's like anything in life. To my point about it's not a miracle cure. You have to what you put in is what you get out, right? As I'm sure you found. But I think the concern I had, or when I was implanted, was I was implanted alongside 3 other guys on the same day. And I know that the 3 of them, because they were slightly older than me, didn't get the same outcomes as I did. And I do remember bumping into a couple of them later on. And then, you know, almost they were complaining that it was, because it's one of those things where you kind of almost have to set yourself some tasks and some activities. It's a bit like learning something, you know. You have to put the effort in and also have a plan, you know. Well, also what works for you might not work for someone else. But there's a whole range of things out there that will help you rehabilitate and learn to hear again. And then there's also obviously the side of working with your audiologist to get your mappings right and to get your all that stuff takes time and effort, you know. As you and I, we had the same cochlear implant center, but I live way outside London, so I was having to come into London fairly regularly to get those to do those mappings. So but unless you do that, you're not going to get the best outcome for you. And so I kind of realized that myself quite early on, and I had the support of my family and, as I said, my firm. But some people perhaps aren't in that position, you know, and they so they'll have their implant, they'll get switched on, they go straight back to work again and just expect that things will work out. So I think my experience and my recommendation for anyone thinking or is going to be getting a cochlear implant is to think quite carefully about how are you going to do those things? How are you going to train your brain again? And there are so many tools and techniques out there like we've talked about, which I think are really beneficial for people. And it's just accepting the fact that put a bit of effort in, you'll get a better result out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, the fact that we've got the same, we were treated at the same hospital, but I know for a fact that we also have the same audiologist. So not mentioning any names, but I think thank you for me, and I think thank you for Mark as well. It's because I think you highlight a really valid point. You know, you can't just go and get the cochlear implant and then go straight back to work. There has to be a care plan. There has to be a hearing / listening plan. I mean, when you were talking just then, something came to my mind. I remember the first week or so after my activation, we would sit down as a family and have dinner, and there would be noises. And one day I stopped everybody and I said, "What's that noise?" And at first nobody really heard anything, but then I went, "Shh, what's that noise? That noise is annoying me." It turned out that I could hear the dishwasher plumbing. And that is incredible, isn't it? So something they've learned to ignore because it's unimportant was so important to me.
Fantastic. You know, you have bionic hearing, you know, you have better hearing than your family in a sense, you know.
Possibly, I don't know. It's no, but it's just it's important, isn't it? So we were talking about using audiobooks, appreciating music by separating the lyrics from the complex sound that music is. We were talking about asking people to confirm what that sound is, what this sound. I think that's a very important one, because also I remember the sound of the pepper grinder. I mean, I heard myself pee for the first time when I was 23. So it's like all those things. It's crazy, you know. Is there anything else that you think people might benefit from?
No, I mean, I think you know that's a really good one actually. You know, I spent lots of my early. I had a very patient family, and a lot of my early days and weeks saying, "What's that sound? What's that sound? What's that? You know, why can I? What does that hear? Well, you know, why am I hearing? And why is that so high, or why is that so low? You know, and so it's about having people around you that kind of almost understand that it's not that miracle cure that they suddenly, you know, you switched on and everything's fixed. That they have to, you know, your care plan is absolutely correct. They need to be invested in helping you on that. They're an important part of that care plan.
Absolutely.
So, but other than the things we talked about, I don't. There's nothing else that springs to mind. I mean, I think it's, you know, there are lots of tools and techniques which I'm sure you know much more about that are out there, sort of, you know, sort of toolkits to help people hear again.
Yeah.
But I just think the key message for me is that, you know, you need to kind of build that into your overall journey.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I think there is an important message also that there is a lot you can do yourself, but then talk to your audiologist, talk to your speech therapist, and also visit the websites of whoever manufactured your cochlear implant, because they might have resources too. So there's one last question I want to ask you before we go today. It's a question that came to my mind recently, and I've asked a few people, and I've been quite surprised by some of the responses. What do you think your life would be like today if you didn't have your cochlear implant?
Okay, so I probably split that into sort of 2 or 3 areas. So from a career perspective, which is important for me because I guess I'm just very focused on doing a good job and providing for my family, and that's really important to me. I think from a career perspective, I would have probably have stagnated to where I got to, and I would probably just spent the last 20 years doing the same kind of job, and probably not being particularly satisfied with it. Whereas I've just kind of gone, the other way in terms of my career progression and moving companies and sort of just generally sort of progressing at a rate that I've been really proud of and really pleased with. So that's the one side of it. I think, I would have probably career-wise, I would have probably been held back quite a lot. And that would have frustrated me, I think. And then from a family perspective, I imagine that I've got 3 children, and I would have missed out a lot on some of the conversations. I would have missed out a lot on some of the first words. I would have missed out a lot on some of the banter that goes on as a family. And also I think the other side of it is that regardless of how patient your family are, they get frustrated with you, right? And I think if I didn't have a cochlear implant, I imagine I might have just withdrawn from my family, because not completely, but I would have realized that it's quite frustrating for them to have to keep repeating things for me. It's quite frustrating for my children to have to keep shouting at me. So my concern, I guess, would have been that ultimately I would have just kind of withdrawn a little bit and kind of gone, well, it's just, I don't want to put that on them, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I'm looking into the future. I'm looking into a future I never had, I guess. But I think if I was, and then with those two areas, it's like, where might that have led me to? It's kind of, which it's not a great outcome personally. Now I'm sure I would have adjusted. I'm sure I would have dealt with it. But knowing the person I am, I think I would have really struggled with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite sobering, actually, isn't it? To think that if we were just, say 30 or 40 years older, we would never have had this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's quite sobering. So it's wow.
Sorry, Stuart. So I'm incredibly grateful. It's to your point, all the people that helped to get, not just the people that work for all the firms, but also the volunteers in the early days, in the 70s, when people had big supercomputers plugged into their heads just to move this stuff along, the pioneers, all that stuff. I can't thank them enough. For me, it's as I said, even if I'd only got half the result I got, that would have been a miracle for me. So
absolutely.
So for me, it's just been absolutely amazing. So I'm just really grateful that I've had that opportunity. To your point, if we'd been 20 or 30 years older, we wouldn't have had that opportunity. So yeah, I'm just very, very grateful.
Yeah, me too as well. So it's you mentioned something just there about not being I just lost my track of thought there. You just blown me away with your okay, now I know that we've gone over time. I want to thank you for your time today, and have a great weekend. And I can't wait to finalize this clip and get it up, because I think it's I really enjoyed bumping into you again a few weeks ago. And hopefully the pandemic doesn't keep us apart for too much longer, and we can all start seeing each other a bit more regularly. So Do you have any last words you like? I mean, you said a nice thank you, a message of gratitude just now. You beat me to it. But do you have any last words before we go?
No, Stuart. Other than I think you're an inspiration as well, mate. And you know, so thanks for all your support, because I know you and I have been bumping into each other for many years. And it's always great to have people, you know, sort of like-minded individuals who kind of have been on a similar journey, and yeah, so just being around you for the last 20 years or whatever it is, it might seem like longer, is has been an inspiration. So thank you.
Oh no, I wasn't fishing for that, by the way. So, but thank you anyway. All right, then I'm going to let you go, and you have a great day. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Stuart.
Bye.
Bye.